The trees are gestating in our throats. Greetings, programs. Looks like another night of crafting here in the lair, so it's probably off camera, but I've got a little bit of a mess here. There's a bunch of weird odds and ends. Tin foil filled with green sawdust. Greetings! Welcome to another episode of Drunken and Dragons, where we're always talking about how to play D&D Mo Better. Was just out with my players having a beer after work and talking about where we're gonna take the campaign. Everyone's 5th level now and we're about to open this world up. So what's the first thing you need when you open up your campaign world? Well, as a good dungeon master, you probably need to start thinking about traveling. I don't know where these guys are gonna go next. There's a few different agendas in the group, from finding a cure to the Umber Hulk curse, to trying to find out what befell the Tower of Evermoon, where our cleric comes from, which supposedly has fallen into ruin, filled with wailing ghosts. Regardless, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We've decided to use all of the Forgotten Realms as our campaign world, but if you guys have watched some earlier videos, you know that in our Underdark, it's actually a sphere inside the planet, and the planet's surface is spinning far faster than the inner sphere where the Underdark is, so time passes much quicker on the surface. So in the 2 weeks or so of world time that my players have been underground, almost 100 years have passed on the surface. So everything they know about the Forgotten Realms is actually a century ago. This is a great technique because it lets me draw from everything that's been written about Forgotten Realms, which is more like the Forgotten Reams, because there's tons of stuff. But it's all 100 years ago, so I get to improvise and continue to invent our storyline and how, most importantly, it fits our characters. Anyway, I'm in the weeds again. No pun intended. So it's time to go to the next chapter, and I know that there's going to be a lot of foot travel involved. I kind of knocked my characters down a few pegs. We were, almost like starting to touch the edge of high fantasy, and as you DMs out there know, when you get into high fantasy, everything gets terrifying and completely out of control. The math gets dumb and everything becomes a gag. So you have to keep low fantasy in the picture. Xena fans out there, you know this formula all too well. Anytime Xena got too powerful, they would knock her way down 5 pegs. She'd have to rebuild herself and her identity and her friendships and all that good stuff. Anyways, what I knew I had to do is I couldn't just keep making Underdark terrain forever. So I have officially cracked open the natural world. So, oh my God, an apocalypse! The dragon has died, and by died I mean tumbled off the table. So I know that we're going to be doing some woodland traveling. So I finally had to get my feet wet. I'm a little green in this area. Green. Anyway, so a lot of you guys have been asking for a more detailed tutorial. A lot of you guys have been asking for a more detailed tutorial about how I'm doing the terrain, and specifically doing like landscape style terrain. Well, I'll tell you how. I have no clue what I'm doing, so I'm a little hesitant to make a tutorial until I really figure out my techniques. So there's some new stuff happening. I got like all this organic matter. I got this crazy like vines and stuff. I've been experimenting making flocking out of different things like sand, sawdust. I got my bags of moss, and then like any good dungeon master, I got twigs, and twigs are trees. So I've been building some bases. You put a bunch of pennies in your foam bases for your trees. I haven't painted these yet. And then you see some stuff here in the foreground. We got some elven architecture pieces that have only been black painted, so they have to be sponge painted. We'll do that on camera. And then just learning about how to get the plant masses to feel natural. Taking a lot of inspiration from the guys doing Armacrog over at Pencil Test. So if you guys haven't seen Armacrog, check it out. It's totally awesome. Those guys are the masters of miniature claymation and generally being badass artists. So I've been experimenting with this. I got this weird crumbly green stuff here. I think I've already ruined this sponge. Yeah, Elmer's, you know, all the usual stuff, but I'm going to try to get a convincing, potent forest experience so that as we travel from destination to destination, I can have a convincing environment. We still need to do like plains, like a grassy plain. We need like a desert, and then we'll start to color or cover a lot of the main color groups. Then we're going to need a snow set. So that is going to be happening throughout 2015. It's going to be cool. For right now, I'm working on the Woodlands. There's going to be a full sort of how-to video going on. I don't claim to be able to educate anyone how to do any of this stuff. I'm completely improvising. But it seems to be going pretty well. Hey, here's a reminder. Please tune in on Friday night. We are going to have a live Q&A talking all about how we're going to do the world building for the PvE group, and I would invite you all to get in the chat room and unleash all your comments and questions, and let's just drink beer and take shots for a few hours together and, you know, bond. Just tonight we hit 1,500 subs on Dungeons and Dragons, so fuck yeah! Lute solo. Lute solos aren't really, you can do an auto harp solo, be like, somebody be like, damn, that was the entire fugue, like in 5 chords. There were no fugues in medieval times. Whatever. Okay, Bach. Is Bach too advanced for the Dungeons and Dragons medieval world? That could be something for the comments below. Thanks everybody. A few more people kicking into the tip jar. Thank you. So, full tutorial coming on this bad boy soon. We had our big final room of the Underdark on Friday night. I will get a room design video for that one done. It was nuts. It's like this bridge, and the inside of the crust of the earth, and the whole thing was spinning. It's like freaking crazy. It was actually inspired by an old $6 Million Man episode from, like, I don't know, it must have been 1979 or so. When I was a little kid, I'll never forget that episode where he had to go through this crazy spinning tunnel. I actually think it was $6 Million Man versus Sasquatch was that episode. So go watch that. I'm sure it's on YouTube. That'd be really cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, this is a quick one, I know, but, you know, throw the comments. What needs to be included in a good woodland setting besides stones, vines, bushes, and trees? And, you know, any techniques or videos that I need to watch to make sure I do a good job? Give me that thumbs up, and I will see you guys on Friday night. Strength, honor, and twigs hang loose. Peace. I'm gonna get back to work.